from today. And I'd really like to begin by thanking you all for joining this one-day virtual event. I know this would have been a pretty rough week for a lot of you, and you are really looking forward for this weekend. You know, but then thanks a lot for taking the time for choosing to be with us and to learn about Microsoft Copilot and Viva Days. Thanks a lot for that, and I'm pretty sure we won't disappoint you today. So, with that, let me begin by welcoming you all to this one-day virtual event, which is completely focused on Microsoft Copilot and Viva Days. Um, I want to begin this event by an interesting conversation which I had with one of the industry leaders who I happened to meet a couple of weeks in a conference, right? So as I was chatting with him, so I had this conversation where I said, well, a lot of us as professionals, we do understand the impact which generative AI or any AI technology for that matter is going to have on the business workflows. But what about the impact it's going to have on the workforce, right? I think that's something which we are all concerned about. We keep seeing all these layoffs happening across the globe, and we do realize that a part of this, even AI and other things are contributing to that, right? So I'm very much concerned. So I just wanted to pick his brain and get his perspective on it. And this is what he had to say. He made a very strong statement, and I really wanted to share that with all you. And I couldn't think of a better way to start this event, right? So AI will not replace human jobs, but a human who doesn't understand AI will be replaced. And I think that's a pretty strong statement, and it really got me thinking. And I just really wanted to share it here so that you can think about this. But of course, today the entire event is going to be focused upon Copilot and Viva, and we are going to talk a lot about AI and so on, right? So, but I think this is a good way, which I wanted to put it out there so that you can start thinking about this. So what is this event all about, right? So it's a one-day virtual event which completely focuses on Microsoft Copilot and Viva product stack. And today's event is just not about you learning and networking with others. You also get a chance to win these exciting goodies. For those who have been a part of our events before, you would know the drill by now already. But if you're somebody who's joining us for the first time, I'll be talking in detail about what is that you need to do to win these exciting prizes, right? Just in a couple of slides, I'll get to that. All right. So what do we have in store for you today? So today it's a non-stop learning. So we have about 10 hours of a non-stop back-to-back sessions. I know it's going to be a lot overwhelming. It's a lot for someone to grasp in one single day, but we just get this one day to do all this event. So choose the track which you're interested upon, and then start joining these sessions. And feel free to join a session or different track also. You're totally free to pick and choose the one which works for you the best. So we'll have two tracks for the entire event. If you look at the agenda on the event website, you would notice that one track is completely dedicated for Microsoft Copilot, and then there is another track which is completely dedicated to Microsoft Viva. So choose the one which best suits your need, and then go from there. So all these sessions are deep dive sessions with loads of demos, right? So we made sure that we have cherry pick the right sessions. We just don't want this to be a bare sales session or something of that sort. So these are really hardcore technical sessions with proper demos and things. So in terms of speakers, we made sure that we pick the best speakers in the world. So we have speakers who are Microsoft MVPs, industry leaders, community experts, and we also have speakers from the Microsoft product team also. Uh, Today gives you a chance for a lot of Q and A's and also for a lot of networking. I don't think this event is just about you learning and listening, right? So just try to make good contacts. Try to reach out to the speakers at a later point if you want to have an in-depth discussion, so on and so forth. So towards the end of the event, there is also going to be an open Q&A with the Viva Explorers team. So as I said, it's an open Q&A wherein you can you can get your questions discussed with the panel members, and they are going to offer some good insight because they've been working on this for a very long time. And of course, there is an opportunity to win these exciting goodies also by participating in the quiz, which I'll talk about in just about a few minutes. So of course, a long event like this needs some good set of guidelines, or else that's just going to be a lot of chaos, right? So, and this is something that we've been following for all our events. So I'll just walk you through this so that you understand, what are the guidelines that you need to follow as a speaker, as a moderator, and even also as an attendee, right? And as long as we are, following all these guidelines, we should be in good shape and we can finish on time. And I don't want to be the last person standing between you and a well-deserved Saturday evening. So let's make sure that we stick to this. So the team meeting URLs to join this session can be found on the event website. So what I mean by this is, if at all you go to the event website here, I'm just sharing the event website. So this is our event website. And if you click on the agenda, it would take you to the agenda. So you would see the Teams icon here, right? So just with a single click, you can join that session. So the way we have designed this is, for track one, it's one single meeting invite, right? So if your complete interest for the entire day is just to go through, just to be a part of track one, then just stay on the same meeting. So speakers will be joining one after the other and they'll be presenting their session. Maybe if you're interested in track two, then yeah, stay in track two so that all the speakers will be joining, and feel free to juggle between sessions, right? Maybe you're quite familiar with the topic, right? And maybe if you want to attend a different topic in Microsoft Viva, feel free to do that, right? But the point that I'm trying to give is, it's just one click away. So just don't go around looking for how exactly do I join this session, right? We made it as simple as possible. Okay, so let me go back to my slide. Okay, so please keep yourself muted throughout the course of the session, because this is a problem that we keep constantly facing. So I know it was not intentional, but at times you join a session and you tend to forget to mute yourself. So please make sure that you pay close attention to that and mute them, or else it's just simply going to distract the other attendees. So in terms of questions, we encourage you all to ask your questions, but it'll be good if you can just park your question towards the end of the session, or if at all you want to keep asking those questions in the chat, feel free to do that. So this is one way. This allows the speaker to finish their session on time, and then they can get to the Q&A. As I said, if there are any specific questions, you can just keep putting that in the chat window, or else you can just park your question towards the end and then have the conversation with the speaker during the Q&A time. And after the session is over, as I said, these are a series of sessions wherein speakers will be joining on the same Teams meeting invite, one after the other. So just make sure that you stay in the Teams meeting invite, and you should be good from there. So all the sessions will be starting on the exact same time, and we are planning to finish it on the exact same time, meaning each and every single session is going to be for 45 minutes, and we want to make sure that we stick to the time, or else it's simply going to prolong the entire event. And I said that's not something which I'm looking forward to do on a Saturday evening. So just make sure that we are all strictly following that. So in terms of attending the quiz, so please make sure to sign up for Quiz Hub. I'll be showing a presentation later about how you can sign up for that. So that's the portal that we are trying to use to run the quiz. I'm pretty sure a lot of you would be familiar with Kahoot. So this is a similar sort of a portal wherein we can, and this is what we are planning to use for a quiz. And just in case if you haven't joined our meetup group, so please make sure that you join our meetup group. There is a lot of virtual events and webinars and in-person events that we keep organizing, and we do not want you to miss all this. So please make sure that you join our meetup group. There are already about 3,500 members so far, and we'd really love you all to be a part of that too. All right, so who was the team behind this effort, right? Let me. So I just want to make sure that I'm giving a good shout out to all the organizers who are part of this, wonderful initiative. It takes a lot of effort to put together an event like this. So Vignesh Ganesh and myself, so Narsimha Perumal, Jaschit Chopra, and Srushti Shah. So they all were the brains behind this event. It kind of feels bizarre that I'm trying to put myself in this slide and I'm trying to appreciate myself, right? So, but just so you know, so this is the entire organizing team. And in terms of our speakers today, so as I said, we made sure that we've got the best speakers in the world. And as a matter of fact, we have speakers from all the different parts of the world who have joined us today, right? And they are real, they bring in a lot of value and expertise in what they do. In fact, a lot of the sessions that, if at all you take a close look at the agenda, right, a lot of the sessions are, they're just not about trying to just simply talk. It's just not about trying to talk the talk, but instead they're trying to walk the walk, right? So a lot of demos which are coming in your way, and a lot of these are MVPs, they're industry experts, and also from the Microsoft product group team. So a lot of knowledge which is going to come your way. And in fact, to attend the quiz, so as I said, so this is the portal that we all want you to sign up. So it's called as, so that's the URL there, quiz.confirm.com. So please make sure that if at all you're not already a member, please make sure that you sign up for that and you have an account ready, because we don't want you to really spend some time in signing up for that when it's time for the quiz. So just make sure that you spend some 5 or 10 minutes for this and make sure that you sign up and you're all good to go, because when the quiz starts, we'll give you the code and then we'll try to start the quiz as soon as possible. And we don't want you to miss out on this just because you haven't signed up for the quiz hub, for the config portal. So with that, I want to thank our sponsors also. So today our sponsors would be Pantara Technologies and Rapid Circle, and our promotional partners are Viva Explorers, right? They've been really instrumental in getting this event to where it is today, and without them, we wouldn't have been here. So thanks once again to Pantara Technologies, Rapid Circle, and Viva Explorers for making this possible. So with that, all I can say is, good luck and have fun, folks. I mean, of course, it's a lot of learning, and it's going to leave you with a lot of, uh, thought-provoking things at the end of the day. So please make sure that you try to make the most out of it. So with that, please join me in welcoming our keynote speaker, Mr. Christian Buckley. So Mr. Christian Buckley, he's been known in the industry for a very long time. He's been known in the community for quite some time. So he's a Microsoft RD and MVP, and he's been doing a lot of great stuff for the community. I've known him for quite some time, and in fact, we had the opportunity to meet at the conference last year in Malaysia, Singapore, and Manila. And I really wanted him to be a part of this event and share his thoughts on AI, Copilot, and Viva. So with that, let me hand it over to Christian. So Christian, over to you. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Vignesh, and hopefully everybody can see me. And let me share. And also this is another thing that happens with teams sometimes is it would not allow me to upload the backgrounds. Anyway, yeah.
Okay.
Stuff happens. So let me do this. Let me add that. Hopefully everyone can see that now.
Yep, you're good to
Yes.
go.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, good to go.
Switch over. Well, my goal with this short presentation, so I only have, I'm here for about 18 to 20 minutes here, is to give you an overview of the space, what Microsoft is doing with AI in the modern workplace, and most importantly, to give you some ideas about how to move forward with these new tools. That's an important part of it. It's the business impact and what you need to think about in your organization. That's actually the hardest thing to talk about because we're all technologists. We're excited about all this new stuff, these new tools, yet it's that the implementations fail when you fail to put people at the beginning of the process. And a lot of the people, as a fellow Viva Explorer, a lot of my fellow Viva Explorers are here presenting. We talk about this, the human side of technology all the time. So you're going to get a lot of that over the course of the day. There's a lot of demos, a lot of case studies, a lot of real world learnings around these tools. I'm just going to give you a high level perspective of the tools and where Microsoft is around this future of work journey. And then again, how you move forward. But first, thank you for the introduction. Here's a little bit more. I'm not going to weight this down going through all these items. I'll provide the slides out there to the team. I'll put them out on my out on social as well. But I'm involved in a number of things that I have. I've been in the space for a long time. I'm a 12-time MVP, originally a SharePoint MVP. I've been for almost 6 years in RD. I've been in tech for over 30 years, so I've been doing this for a long, long time. And let's get started. So over the last few years, the modern workplace is really seeing this transformational shift. Of course, we all went through the pandemic experience. That accelerated a lot of things for a lot of people. For those of us that work in the collaboration and information management space, it's not hard to look back over this period, especially the last 4 or 5 years, and see that increase in the pace of change. So it's not just that a lot has changed, is that it's speeding up. Every company, of course, is different in how we experienced and are still experiencing this change, the impact it's had on our company cultures. A lot of organizations that figured, hey, we can actually have people working remote. We don't need to be in the office every day. And that's a huge shift. And then, of course, there's been individual experiences with different employees. For some companies, a transformational shift has included an acceleration towards the cloud and really fully embracing. Folks didn't realize this, but 5 years ago, there was still a huge percentage of organizations that were in the Microsoft ecosystem, especially in the SharePoint space, that were still on-prem. And a lot of those were forced to move things into the cloud and realized, hey, we can actually do this. So that shift has been underway for a number of years, but more and more organizations are really starting to embrace. Of course, we all know the rapid rise of Teams and SharePoint Online and all the other tools. But with this rapid growth, there are some certain realities that come with the technology. For one, the rate of creation of content is just, I think there's, I keep hearing like Jeff Teeper, president of collaborative apps at Microsoft, Satya Nadella, CEO of Microsoft, talk about this, the fact that we were creating more in the last year of content, in the world than has been, that's more content in the last year than over the last 50 years combined. And it's growing rapidly. It's crazy. So images, documents, video, audio, everything. We have massive folder collections. I have logins for multiple Office 365 accounts, and each of them have their own storage in OneDrive and SharePoint. There's just a ton. Most companies are suffering from poor productivity. They don't understand what they're not doing right or wrong. They're not sure what it means to be more efficient. But when data is not optimized, classified, organized, it makes it more difficult to find that. Or just like SharePoint search doesn't just work on its own. There's steps that need to be taken. There's classification, there's cleanup, there's permissions, there's the information architecture that needs to be optimized for that. And so you just have to be aware of how the tools work. And I think that quote Vignesh that shared up at the beginning, that's not, we need to understand how the tools work. We don't need to be experts. We don't need to be developers of the technology, but we should understand fundamentally how the tools work so that we can be optimized in our activities against these tools. Of course, there's increased security risks, especially when your data is not organized. We have local and multiple cloud third-party repositories, Dropbox, Box, Ignite, Google Drive, kind of all these places where we have content and images. And the problem there is that, what intellectual property is out there? Where is it? So a lot of organizations, they have that sprawl issue. And then that impacts then the value that the organizations get out of the technology. If we're not using it properly, if our organizations don't know where our intellectual property lives and how it's being managed, then there's going to be security breaches. There's going to be less efficient collaboration. So if data needs to be found at the right time, needs to be in the right place between the right people to get the most value out of that content. There's also this issue that also came to a head during the pandemic, which is around burnout and the reality that organizations were pushing so hard on productivity that they weren't recognizing that this is not sustainable on our people. We need to find a more holistic, organic, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, a way of working, a people-centric, human-centric way of computing. So what I've discovered is collaboration and productivity tools start getting more broadly adopted. Many organizations start asking those questions. Are we accessing the right information in the right place at the right time? Are we getting the most out of our technology? And are we causing employee burnout? So we have this thing, this AI revolution. We stand at the precipice of a new era, an era where AI is not just a buzzword, but it's a critical component of our everyday work. Not quite the version of AI. That's not it either. That thing scares me, that dog thing. But we have these solutions like Copilot and Viva. And I'm going to go through a very high level what they are. So what is Viva? Because first came Viva before Copilot. So, I know we're all excited about Copilot too, but this is an employee experience set of tools. I would call it a platform. It's really, there are different tools that under a single brand. but it's transforming how we engage, how we learn, how we grow in our workplaces. It brings together communication, knowledge, learning, resources, and insights into an integrated experience. And it's a more and more integrated experience as it evolves, it matures. My build is slightly off here, but so it's that integrated solution. So some of its key solutions, we're all familiar with some of them, but these are kind of the core, not everything that's in Viva. But first and foremost, Viva Connections. So this is that the feature that it connects employees with tools, news, and resources through a customizable app, both in SharePoint as well as in Teams. But content is displayed in Teams. That's where we get our work done on a dashboard, and is tailored to meet the individual needs based on their role, their region, and their interests. So it's taken the news feed for an organization to that next level. Next, you have Viva Engage. This is formerly known as Yammer. This is about bringing people together across the organization to connect with leaders, coworkers, and build community. So it can help people crowdsource answers and ideas. Great examples, and I'm sure you're going to get some over the course of today, some of these work experiences, but it's finding people of like minds, these mini communities within communities, that's so important to help people get more value out of the workplace. You've got Viva Insights, which improves the employee productivity and well-being through data-driven insights and recommendations. Viva Learning, which is about bringing that enterprise learning into the flow of work by connecting content from your organization with outside sources, so that you can easily create these learning paths and allow people to go in self-paced or group, go and learn around these various resources. Viva Goals, which is about aligning teams and employees with your organization's strategic goals and priorities. And goals is something that you're going to see as part of Microsoft's broader task management strategies. You're going to see more and more integration, deeper integration between goals and the new planner and to do and kind of the other features that are out there. I should also point out in general about all of these products, and there are other Viva products. Like I love Viva Amplify. That's something I'm doing sessions on later this year. But that Viva is easily customizable and extensible. So partners and developers can use the toolkits and APIs to be able to extend that experience and develop supported Viva apps. So overall, just this is an older graphic. I know it's even changed. Products will come and go from the Viva suite. Microsoft always reserves the right to modify their SKUs, and I'm putting that kindly. But it is a powerful set of tools that helps to leverages the new AI capabilities, enhances productivity and creativity, and brings teams together. That's the purpose of Viva. So what is Copilot? We've seen so much marketing. What is not Copilot about? Everything that we're reading about, hearing about from Microsoft. I think the biggest question about Copilot is there anything else happening besides Copilot inside of Microsoft? But Copilot is an AI-powered assistant that is revolutionizing the way that we create and code by providing on-the-fly suggestions, reducing errors, and significantly improving efficiency. There's great stats that are out there. If you're not familiar with Microsoft's blog or site called WorkLab, which is a place where they go and they share the insights, both in the thinking behind new products and features, but they also share a lot of the data of how people are using their technology and what Microsoft is learning from that. So if you've not been to I think it's worklab.microsoft.com, but just go search for WorkLab. You'll find the site there. Highly recommend you go take a look at that, because there's a lot that it talks about and shares the data behind the initial Copilot pilots. So what is it? So it has that simple interface. Of course, it's integrated in where we hear all the news into Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, and everything else. But there are different ways of accessing the capability. I love I've got the enterprise SKU. Microsoft initially released it only to larger enterprises. It's now anybody can go in and pay the monthly fee. It's expensive, but then get that. Like I have my single tenant. I'm the only user. I have enterprise Copilot running there. So I have my intelligent meeting recap. I've got all of the coding help, the DevOps tools. I've got all of that I can go and play with, experiment with. But you also have multiple ways that you can go and experiment that. So you have now the Bing chat, formerly known as Bing.com chat, now Copilot. You've got it through the Microsoft Edge sidebar. So make sure you're using Edge. You've got it in mobile. It's on Windows. And you can go to copilot.microsoft.com. And so if you're not yet sure what it's like, what the experience is like, there are ways without spending a dollar you can go and play with the technology and just get used to it. So the way the interface works there, the important thing is that the input, and this is where the complexity of this transformation is going to happen. It's a different way of interacting with technology. There's again work that needs to be done to make sure that your data is set up correctly. For those that remember when Delve was released, one of the big complaints about Delve was that it was highlighting content that people shouldn't have been seeing. What it was doing was it was highlighting content that that organization did not put adequate security around. They did not clean up their permissions. And so you no longer do you have security through obscurity. Just because we're bad at doing security is not an excuse for not going and taking the necessary steps. So it's a Copilot is a powerful tool. You're going to see a lot of examples of that this throughout this day. It's not just about working harder, it's about being smarter in how you're working. So a fundamental skill set will be how to work with the AI technology, how to work with Copilot going forward. It's going to be a skill set. It'll be a real thing. Training will be required. So we're all excited about Copilot. Here's the thing. Uh, these new tools, they're not just a new word processor. It's not just a new information management. It's not like a new version of Teams or SharePoint that we go and do an upgrade or that it's upgraded in the background and we go in and conduct business like usual. It's a fundamentally different way of working. Most organizations are simply not prepared for the business transformation that will be required to adjust to this. And having said that, organizations and consultants, experts, individuals who are prepared, that understand how fundamentally different it is, that will be a competitive advantage going forward. It really comes down to change management. Change is incredibly difficult. Most organizations are really bad at it. That's why there are so many consultants like myself that go in, work with clients, and so much of what we're doing, it's like make a decision on the technology. It's so less important than the change that needs to happen to move an organization forward so that they're adopting and engaging with that new technology. That's going to be the next 2 to 5 years around this Copilot technology is going to be just helping businesses, and it will probably be longer than that. Look how long the cloud took 15 plus years for organizations to understand, hey, this is coming. So what's the secret to change? Is it about selecting the right tools? Oh, we just select and change just happens. Is it about training your end users on the right features in those new tools? Hey, we sat through a Copilot training for half a day. Everybody's good. We can do it, right? It's a little more involved. Do we just pray for adoption? No. What happens, permanent change happens when you help your end users to alter, to change their behaviors. They need to develop new ways of working, new healthy habits around the technology. So it's going to require a rethinking of the way that we're working with these tools, working with this technology. Do we have time? I don't want to scare anybody. That's not my goal here. Like there is time to do this, but the longer you take, the further behind you will get from where your competitors are. So when end users can adapt to change, when they are able to pick this up, learn from it, and you iterate as an organization, you learn from this, they become more efficient, they're more effective in their roles, they're more collaborative, they're more innovative. So it's important to embrace the new technology, sure, but the whole organization needs to adjust. That's what digital transformation means. It's not about upgrading a piece of technology. It's about, here's the technology, a blend of old and new. Here's how we do more business, get more done, work better together so that we're creating more intellectual property. We're creating more products, services, whatever those things, better serving our customers. Those are the measurements that matter out of digital transformation. So without that lasting change, without understanding the transformation that needs to happen, your efforts will likely fail. So people follow the path of least resistance. If you treat it like, hey, this is just a half day training, go and do this, get back and do your job, figure out how to make it work, they're going to follow the path of least resistance. I always say people are like water running down a hill. You put a rock in front of them, the water runs around the rock. That's how most people are. To get a fundamental change, it takes time, it takes nurturing, takes training, it takes goals, it takes doing weekly brown bag demonstrations, in-person trainings, one-on-one, team training, all of those things. It's going to require that ongoing so that people are performing well against this new technology. So how you reach that destination, getting to that future state, is just important as, hey, we need to get there. So if you want to bring people along and get them to change the way that they're working, it's going to take time, it's going to take effort. And as I said earlier, it's not just about focusing on the technology. You often forget to focus on the people aspects of that. So as a change management consultant, I talk always about these four parts, what these means. Transparency, talk about, hey, this is the change that's coming. Here's what our goals are here. We don't understand everything, but this is what we're striving to go and do, and be very open and transparent about that. Here's what the process is going to look like. We're going to pilot, then we're going to go through the review. We're going to expand and add more teams in. Talk about that. Be vocal, share that information, and then be consistent, which is the review cycle. This is from somebody who comes from a project management background. Review, like, are we talking about what have we succeeded? Where are we on the path? What are the next steps? Talking about that and doing that in a weekly, monthly, quarterly basis so that people, when they have no information, they kind of freak out. So you need to give them that structure, that consistent information about the process. Then collaborate, share ideas, be open about, what did we learn? What can we do better? Let's go and iterate on our model. And that last one, iteration. You're never going to be successful with your first plan. It's going to fail. You're going to be wrong on a lot of things, but you can't measure something if you're not moving forward. So that's why iteration is so key here. And then all of this, my main point here is that it's about building the right culture of change. If everybody is good at change in your team, you can handle anything put in front of you. If they fight back on the minimal changes, you're going to struggle with every single implementation out there. So you want to create a culture that has change at the center. And the end of this is that you need to experiment. What does that look like? This is my last slide, folks. Experiment, of course, it's the eye chart one with the bullets. Experiment with change. First, identify who are the players that are out there. Who are the ones that are already out there experimenting? Your champions. What are the user profiles? Where are they in the organization? Get a good cross section of people. Then identify and select key scenarios. Like, don't just say we're going to go have people just randomly try. No, apply this pilot around real projects, real people. So here's how this pilot team, they usually worked. Here's their goals. Were we able to do it more quickly? Was it more accurate? Was it better? How did it improve that process? That's how you pilot around those real projects, real business scenarios. Have real business users, champions, IT pros, refine and repeat the process. It's not just about piloting one time, multiple pilots, learn from that, pilot again. Design, launch, and manage an adoption campaign. And that might include internal awareness. This is training materials, digital signage, events internally, self-help training. Some people are better at learning on their own. Others, they do better in a group setting. but have feedback mechanisms all over the place so that people know you're doing surveys, pulse surveys, one-on-one interviews, group panel discussions where you're getting feedback about how this change is happening. And then have some predefined measurements for success, what this looks like, number of people adopted, if your company builds a product, how many more product are out the door because of these improved processes. I always recommend building a champion program. You get the people that are the most gung-ho, that are uh, the most helpful to their peers. Build a champion program, recognize those people. They become your tier one support desk for all of these new technologies. And then again, have that standardized feedback method, make it transparent, keep it up to date. So when people ask a question, even if you don't know the answer, say, I don't know the answer yet. We're still looking for the answers here. Measure and share the success, adjust your messaging as necessary. This is the action plan that I use with clients. Highly recommend this model. And I know I'm just out of time here, but hopefully that gives you some thinking about what goes into the background here. Happy to stick around for a few minutes and answer questions. But other than that, I know we've got a huge schedule. So thanks so much for having me. And of course, reach out to me if you have any other questions, and follow me out on the socials. So thank you.
Thanks, Christian Beckley. That was really a great way to start the event, and I think that should have set the tone for the entire day. And folks, as you all hear them, right? So there is no point in keep kicking that can down the road, if you will, right? So the transformation is happening now, and it's better to get on that boat and start your journey as soon as possible. I'm pretty sure today's event should help you to get all that knowledge, which is going to help you to get started with this journey. So with that, the breakout sessions are going to start. If at all you want to stay here and ask some questions to Christian Buckley, feel free to do that. But at the same point of time, the keynote session, I'm sorry, the breakout sessions are also going to start. So please look at the agenda and join the respective sessions. Thank you.